4% rule, it's an extremely simple rule with a lot of complicated data behind it, making it easy for you to figure out how much you need to invest to retire or to become financially independent. Basically put, you withdraw 4% of your portfolio for your year's living expense. So you need to figure out how much do you spend per year. For example, if it's 20,000 euros, dollars, pounds, you will need 500,000 saved. Reason why? 20,000 is 4% of 500,000. If you spend 40 grand, you need 1,000,000. Simple as that. There's a lot of data behind it and a lot of explanations as to why, but you work out what you spend per year. And keep in mind, when you're retired or financially independent, you are going to spend a lot less. You won't be spending money on commuting to work. You won't be spending money on many suits or lunches out. You'll be able to travel on off-peak times. So you will have to figure out how much costs are going to be if you are going to have kids in the future, or if you have kids and they're going to move out in the future. But it's not that hard to do. So to tell you a little bit about the background of the 44% rule. So there was a study done in the 90s called the Trinity study, and this used lots and lots of data using every 30-year rolling period since the beginning of records, I think around the 1900s. And the stock market runs at about 10% per year on average. Now, sure, there's years that go up 30% and years that go down 90%, like 1929. But the overall average, factoring in dividend reinvestments and inflation, is about 10%. Now, obviously there is inflation, so you would want to round this down to about maybe 7%. And the study did different allocations of stocks versus bonds. And I'll go more into stocks versus bonds in later videos. When you're younger, you'll probably want more stocks, less bonds. As you grow older, bonds are more secure but less growth, so you'll probably want more bonds. But this study pretty much figured out that all you need to do for a 96% chance of never running out of money is to withdraw 4%. You needn't worry about inflation, because this is all factored into the equation. As I said, there was so much data behind it. Like, one of the studies was about a 7% growth if you had 50% stocks and 50% bonds. But a lot of people remember the crash of 1929 or the crash of 08 and the dot-com bust in 2000. But there was only 2 years in this study that didn't work out, that you would run out of money, and that was in the 60s. But keep in mind, if you quit your job at a young age, there's always the option to go back, or to have a side hustle, or to become an Uber driver, or deliver food, or do some YouTube videos. You don't necessarily need to stop working forever. You might work part-time, you might go back full-time for a few years and take a few years off. So there's so many options to do with this 4% rule that you need to. Now, what a lot of people be thinking, there's no way I'm ever going to get $1 million. Not to mind, not even 100,000. Keep in mind, I'm talking in numbers here. So dollars, pounds, euros, the same concepts are the same, whatever currency you're using. But a lot of people, that's a long way off. But I will show you the growth of compounding. And the human brain doesn't work well with compounding. You've no idea that, let's say, for example, a €5 or dollar saving a day is around 1,200 a year, which in 30 years time could be tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. This all adds up and compounds when you have it invested. And loads of people hear about stock market crashes, but this 4% rule works its way through this. It's not about playing the market, it's just about long-term growth. As Warren Buffett says, time in the market is better than timing the market. It's just about dollar cost averaging, putting your money in, and then withdrawing that 4% when you're retired. So a lot of people are worried, how are they going to get to that $1 million, or even to the first 100 grand? But I'll show you how to do that in later videos. I'll show you how to not waste money on stupid things that you don't need. I'll show you how to invest it, and I'll show you the growth of compounding.